And welcome to the Burning Edge podcast, the inaugural episode. Big word. You didn't think I can get that one out, did you?
Wow.
Nice. From Brindley Mountain Fire Apparatus Studio in the beautiful Lacey's Spring, Alabama. Say it correctly. Got to say Lacey's Spring.
Both of them.
Lacey's Spring. Yep, Lacey's got one spring. But anyway, today's the first episode of the Burning Edge podcast. We're going to be a firefighter podcast where we talk about firefighter subjects with actual firefighters and paramedics and EMTs all across the nation. So today we've got our first episode with Jordan Brooks and Mac McLemore. Appreciate y'all coming in.
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to this.
Glad to be here.
And on mic number 2, we got Tim White.
Yep.
An advanced EMT.
Advanced.
Chaplain.
It says it on
You've
the
got
sleeve.
the patch. Can you just buy the patch or do you have to go to school for that?
Actually, you can buy the patch.
I got a pocket knife says I can get you one right now.
Wow.
So I can have one without going to school?
Yeah.
You could, yes.
Is that stolen valor like it is in the military?
Sure it is, yeah.
For Tim, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, for Tim it is,
It's absolutely stolen.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've got the paperwork to prove it, though, right?
As far as you know, I do.
Okay. I'll take your word on it.
Don't question too much.
I'll take your word on it. Yeah, so we're going to talk firefighter stories, things that plague the industry, volunteer and paid. Just different, try to tell some stories and make it fun for anybody who wants to listen. Jordan's got a very specific set of skills, as the guy from Taken says. That's a very particular set of skills.
I'm not sure on the
You know that
skill.
movie?
I know the movie, but I'm
Okay.
not sure on the skill you're trying to point out.
Well, you're a paid and a volunteer, which I guess
That's
a lot
not a
of
skill.
and it's not really particular. I feel like a lot of paid guys do volunteer work if they live in
wouldn't-
rural.
Honestly, I don't think there's as many as what you would think
Really?
would be done. Yeah.
They're just sick of it from
I
doing
think
it as
so.
their day job.
Yeah. And then those same guys are the ones that kind of make fun of the volunteers.
Of
And I'm like,
course.
you can go make a difference. Like,
Yeah.
participate at the departments.
There you go.
So,
Yeah, that's the way to be. Is instead of complaining about it, try to make a difference about it.
exactly.
And Mac McLemore, been volunteering for 14 years.
Been a minute.
Yep. So you're kind of like me though. We're just firefighter grunts. Like
That's it.
we don't do a whole lot. But we're just fight fire volunteer.
Yep.
That's it.
Come on.
And Jordan's got all the certifications and all the fancy stuff like Tim, all the badges.
Yeah, we do.
So
Yeah, you guys don't really do a whole lot on the scene.
Yeah. What?
No, you do. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, that'd be.
yeah, I'm getting old.
Is that it?
Yeah, I'm
Getting old.
getting
out.
old, man.
Look, somebody's got to supervise. So I feel like, you
Yeah,
know,
I mean, Tim's like one of those people that kind of ropes. You know, he's out there as herding goats, trying to keep everybody together.
Yep.
Because there's always a couple of us that like going
Yeah. Yeah.
full send. Tim's sitting there over. Come back.
And it's usually you sending us off into la la land.
Dude, get the job done is all I care about.
I will have to tell you that Jordan's really good at keeping me safe.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure he's like
And
that
he
about
did
other,
that.
but specifically me. I've been on, worked a wreck one time where the truck was sitting on a dude's head. It was a van. You remember
Oh
that?
yeah.
And he had some fatal injuries, but he was still alive. And I was
Wow.
like, Jordan, you got to get the van off this dude's head. And he's like, nope, not while you're in that van. And I'm like, it's fine, just get it. And he's like, nope, you get out of that van and I'll get it off of him. And made me get out of it, which
That's good.
was the right thing to
Yeah.
do.
You gotta have a level head
Yep.
outside the situation to be able to say, let's chill, let's think about this for a second.
Yeah. So, yeah, he takes good care of me on the scene. Not unlike you, Joey, who just kidding.
Yeah.
Everybody takes good care of everybody.
I'm usually just trying not to die myself.
Well, that's me.
I haven't put an air pack on in a year.
I can go 2 bottles, I promise.
Yeah, 2 bottles in 22 minutes.
Yeah. 1 IV bag later.
Yeah. I usually tell people if I have to suit up and go in, it's a bad day. And if I'm doing it, it's to get one of y'all out.
Yeah.
But it's really just so I can go in there and lay down and die with you. It's not, I'm not coming out.
I love it.
So Mac, what got you in the volunteer?
I guess I just had some like really good mentors coming up. You know,
Somebody
living
in the
across.
family?
No, just living across from the fire department was obviously a big one.
Nice.
But I had some guys next door, some really heavy hitter firemen, and I got to see like difference they were doing in the community. You know, they were showing out. They weren't there to you could tell they weren't there for the shirt, so to speak.
Yeah.
They were there to really, really set a standard, and they pulled me in through the junior program that we done at the time.
Was you in high school at that time?
No, my mom was taking me to the fire meetings at that time.
No way.
So,
So you young. You was a little bitty.
Yes, absolutely.
That's cool.
So 14, 15, right in there. And then, like I said, those guys set a standard for the fire service, and I couldn't get away from it.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's cool.
I forgot all about the junior programs. Me and you are the originals from that group.
OGs.
OGs
Really?
that have stayed.
I've seen that
through
picture.
all- yeah,
Pretty-
we started
pretty cringe,
it. We
but-
started it together, and we literally just nobody else is around except for us two. 2 out of what 10 or 12 of us.
Several.
And 2 of us stayed.
Nice.
It's just 2 to 10 ratio. I guess is what you get out of it now.
So it worked. So was it like that adrenaline rush, the first call you went on, or was it that kind of kept you in it? You think?
I think, like Max said, we had I don't want to put these guys on a big pedestal, but when we come in, we had some heavy hitters. They're not about egos. They were just we're fixing to get the job done, get work done. Yeah,
Yeah. Job done.
and we were brought up by those guys, and those were some awesome guys to come up under.
Yeah.
They taught us to be the door guys. We were going and getting tools. We were cranking saws. We were
Doing what you
anything
could.
that they needed, and they'd come out of a burning house and grab a saw. They'd come out and ask us for a pike pole, and so just being in step one, wanting to be step two fireman, I guess is
There
really
you go.
what the push was. I wanted to be the one asking somebody for my
Yeah.
tool to go back in.
Okay. So you've been in for what I wrote down, 14 years.
Mhm.
There you go. So that's a long time.
Been a minute.
Yeah. A lot of people, they kind of burn out pretty quick. So that's solid.
'Cause I think it's 15. If you're at 14, I'm at 15. I come in a year before you.
Yes.
Okay. And you said you started when you were 16.
I started when I was 16. I had a car wreck,
Yeah.
and the volunteer department showed up. One of my 2 car wrecks.
You was in.
I remember that.
You was driving.
Now, yeah, it's one of my 2 car wrecks I've been in, and the first time the volunteer department showed up, I was like, "This is pretty cool." I didn't know we had a fire department way out here, and then learned more and more, and that's what dropped me in. I was like, I'll go give it a shot, and then it was just okay, we're gonna turn this into your life and career. Let's go.
So how long would you volunteer before you decided to go paid?
I went paid in 2020. I got the opportunity, and I had an old supervisor at the job before that. He's like, "You don't want to miss the opportunity, chase it."
Yeah.
He said, "There's something with you, just chase it."
There you go.
And I took off, and ever since then, I have not stopped. It's been a heck of a ride.
So you've been paid for the past 5 years since 2020, I think
Yep.
you said. So, okay. So are you working towards chiefdom? Is that Jordan's goal, or is it, you like to
I still like kicking indoors.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
kick indoors, saving babies?
Yeah, pretty much. At the career side, I'm just a fireman, and it's the greatest job ever. I get to ride backwards.
Yeah.
The volunteer side, I've told Tim, I don't know how many times we've been on calls, and even though I'm a captain at the volunteer department, I'm like, I still like to kick indoors. Tim, you're in charge. You got this. I'm going to go play.
Yeah.
But you learn through different ways of you got to learn to step back and lead those roles anymore.
Yeah.
And Max struggles with it just as much as I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And even if you're trying not, you still enjoy doing the thing, you still got young guys coming in behind you that you got to train up.
Yeah.
And we do. And
Yeah.
I think that's what you and me and Matt kind of just full force in that right now.
Yeah, I love it because you guys now are the heavy hitter firefighters that are training up the young guys. So that's good. I love to see it come full circle.
Yeah. And you guys coming through that way, it kind of gives you a good perspective for the new guys coming in to kind of incentivize you to want to do that.
Yeah, everybody always says, minimum standards. Minimum standards, anybody can go get the minimum standard.
Yeah.
You got to put that in effect and work further past it.
Yeah. Try to do more than what you
Yeah, 100%.
think you can do. Push yourself constantly.
If you're not pushing yourself, it's just you're going to sit at that flat spot the entire time.
Now, so you've been doing it for a while. Do you think that the standards are kind of lowering to me, it seems like it's to drive more people to try to get in because it is a difficult, even for free thing. It's difficult to do. So it's like the standards are having to get lowered just to
I think it is.
get people in.
Especially where we're at in North Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
North Alabama's growing so fast.
Yep.
So departments are trying to stay ahead of that curve.
Yep.
I think the standards have come down a little bit because it's just the fire career used to be I remember putting in at cities when I was 18, 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, here's my application. And they're like, all right, cool. And I've watched them put it in a basket, and the basket's like 4 inches is thick of applications. And I'm like,
That's not happening.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And now on the career side, I'm the one that gets like they'll hand me the application. I'll turn around. I'm like, we're hiring for 2 spots. We got 3 people put in.
Jeez.
It's just, and I think, and that's a problem. Like it's just every fire department struggling right now. Retention is one of those.
Yeah.
Like you can always jump ship and go somewhere and get paid more.
Yeah.
But it's just retention's the biggest thing. Like trying to keep guys interested.
Mac, what do you think's causing that?
I think it's I'm like he said, they're the standard. Also, too, it seems like, you know, when you're going through the courses and you're kind of outside looking in, like it seems like there's so much safety.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like there's so much stuff that pushes people away a little bit, I feel like.
Does that come from the state level, you think, or is that more local, departmental?
NFPA.
Oh, really?
So
that's
NFPA,
national.
Yeah, it's national. Like it's
That's a problem.
Abolish the NFPA. Like I seen those stickers, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
What's it say?
It says abolish the NFPA.
Oh, wow.
Like people had hats made. I'm like, there's a time for NFPA, but sometimes like slack off a little bit. But
Yeah. You can't get back to like we used to be where we were, you know, everybody's huffing smoke and getting cancer and, you know, like you need some safety. You need some oversight.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just makes it difficult for volunteers to get people and say, hey, guess what? You don't get paid a dime for it. You're going to risk your life. You're going to get emotional trauma, but
hardest work you'll ever do.
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's like when before I went to recruit school, I had fire 1 and 2 before I went. Like I gave my time to get those 2 certs to be able to, all right, well, I got the standard, so now I need to go to here. Mm-hmm. And like every cert I've ever got, it's kind of like, okay, I hit this cert. Now what's even tougher? Let me go do this next one that's more intense.
Yeah. So Tim, you work in the EMT side, medical side. You paramedic on the side too. Is that kind of the same?
Not
paramedic.
It says it.
I'm sorry, advanced EMT.
I'm not a paraguy.
But you're
I'm
right.
a paramedic. Sorry.
But you're out on the meat wagon.
One
so.
and the same. Yeah.
So what is it? Kind of the same standards, kind of lowering a little bit. Do you think in that field, that side of the world?
I do see that they are a lot of the advanced skills that were medic skills. Mm-hmm. They're starting to push down to the lower level EMTs. Like I'm about to get some cardiac stuff that was off limits before, but now it's coming to me. EMT basics are getting some breathing treatment stuff, which used to be the mid level. Mm-hmm. But I think the reason they're doing that is because there's a shortage of EMTs and paramedics.
Yeah,
and they need people. So they're pushing those skills down. But the other side of that too, though, is I think these skills that are getting pushed down, they're not. They are advanced skills that can be difficult, but they can be taught.
Yeah.
I think they could push some more down. Like I don't know why we couldn't push IVs down to EMT basics because they're not that difficult. There's some stuff you need to learn to be able to do them, so you don't overload somebody with fluids, but 9 times out of 10, we're just starting a saline lock.
Yeah.
Not even pushing fluids.
Now, where do those standards come from? I know NFPA's fire is...
For us, it comes out of the Alabama Department of Public Health.
Okay.
That's who writes our protocols.
So it's different state to state?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think Tennessee, plain basic can start an IV in
Yeah,
Tennessee.
I think so.
30 minutes up the road?
Yeah.
He can do what we consider an advanced job.
Okay.
But basic right across state line can.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and what's interesting is a phlebotomist, they're sticking needles in people's arm all day long.
Yeah.
And they don't have, you can get a certificate as a phlebotomist, but essentially you can just, you teach them how to stick in an arm and draw blood, and that's it. There's no license level like we have for EMTs.
It's like a 3-month training class. Okay, here you go.
Go stick people. Make people bleed.
Run around throwing darts.
And I got to say that the needle thing is the thing that's keeping me out of EMT. Like,
Really?
I don't
You're
even.
sticking it in other people.
I don't care.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I hate needles. Don't like them. Don't want to touch them. Don't want to look at them.
I forget all about that.
Yeah.
And you've got that tattoo and everything.
It's different.
What's the deal with that?
I don't
Did
know.
you cry?
I didn't. It's a little different.
Is it?
It's a different. I don't know.
It's enjoyable pain.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just took it to a weird place. Appreciate that.
No, that's what people say. Oh, it just works pain away.
No, it sucks.
It's not as weird as
Still
that.
hurts.
Not as weird as that butterfly you got.
I was going to say his lower back will never be the same.
Never be the same. Yeah.
And I do want to point out, Tim's probably the only person in this room that should be on a podcast You got a good voice.
What?
You're professionally trained.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
I feel like you should be at like Fenway Park.
Tim's got a nice
bottom of
voice.
the ninth, bases loaded.
Is that a football stadium?
Soccer.
That's why I'm not in.
You do look like a soccer fan.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, wow. Yeah. See,
Probably
don't bait me like that because I don't want to say anything inappropriate, which is weird to hear those words come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Get back on subject. Talking about lowered standards and stuff.
I thought he was going for lower back again.
I'm like, oh, here we go.
Back to your lower
It
standard.
all
Yeah.
comes together.
Let's talk to the guy that's got 2 back surgeries.
Yeah. How does that work, by the way? That's a big deal. You got to be able to pick stuff up.
I had no feeling. We're good. Nerve damage. We're fine.
Heavily medicated.
Drags one of his legs. He drags.
Yeah.
And,
It's fine.
Yeah. No, it's good.
You're good. So Mac, what's the difference between what'd you call it, aggressive firefighters and what'd you say, yard pounders,
Yard breathers.
Yard breathers.
yard breathers?
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
setting you up here.
Yeah. So I guess really, just like a heavy hitter fireman, so to speak, I guess you could say, is somebody that's here to actually abide by the oath of a fireman. Somebody that's here for life, no matter what, here for property, no matter what. And somebody that's willing to get in there and put themselves inside, no matter what.
Yeah.
Somebody that's done time, take the training, knows what they're doing when they get inside, willing to get inside. Somebody that's willing to put their life at risk for someone else's.
Gotcha.
But like I said, there's people in the fire service that, like just for instance, we get called to other areas and stuff for people that won't make entry, but because they know that we will.
Gotcha.
And it's far off, different counties, so to speak. But at the same time, we'll get comments like they're being reckless or they're putting themselves in harm's way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's what we're here for. That's what we signed up to do.
Sometimes you got to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the adrenaline you feed off of.
Yeah. Tim says it a lot. You risk a lot to save a lot.
Yeah.
So, you got to be willing to do that as opposed to just show up and get the T-shirt. And do you think that's a training issue, or do you think it's just more of a just wanting to be a part of it type thing and get the adrenaline rush without the risk?
I think so. And like you said, it all comes back to standards. So like, we were brought up with, that was the only way that we knew.
Yeah.
So now, this new generation comes up, and if we don't invest in them, if we don't pour into them and teach them, what our superiors taught us, it's just gonna dumb it down. They're gonna think that they can put the fire out from outside.
Gotcha.
And like I said, another instance, like a fully involved fire to some firemen that show up on scene, maybe a 2-room and content fire. But if there's possibly 10% livable space in that house, we need to be looking in that 10%. We actually got in trouble for drawing on the glass of one of our doors of the fire department the other night because they told one fireman that this percentage of a house was livable space, or this makes it, or he had been taught the standard of 70% of the house fire. If a house was 70% engulfed, then that was considered fully involved, and we were not to make entry.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's 30%.
Of something.
That's 30% of livable space. If somebody's burning up in that house, they're going to that 30%. It's in our oath to go to that 30%.
Yeah. Yeah. Me and our boy Ethan, we went in on a trailer that was, it was 90% gone. There wasn't nothing left. But there was one section of the trailer that we couldn't get to, so we made entry into one of the side windows and fought it from the direction we could, and that room hadn't burnt yet. Turned out there was the family pets in there, and one of them was still alive, so we was able to save a life by really, we was just fighting fire. We weren't even really looking for life yet.
No, you're just trying to save what you could.
Yeah.
And
if we could
search.
if we could have, at a minimum, if we was able to save that room with some pictures, it's, to me, that's worth it. As long as it's safe
Like
to
a
go in. And
family picture from the 70s of
That's
my
right.
great grandmother. It means a lot to somebody.
yeah, we was able to pull out a dog. There was a few other ones that passed away, unfortunately, but one of them was saved, and man, that was the world to that family because they just lost everything else. But at least they've got this one, family pet to survive, and that's huge. You got to do it.
I think a lot of people think too, like when it comes to a fireman, that they think that we're only here for lives. But the property aspect too is huge. You know, when somebody's house is burning up, everything that means anything to them is into that house.
Yep.
You know, to you it may be a photo album, it may be a family Bible, it may, you know, I mean, we've went in and got reptiles out of a house before, you know, but that's all that people have. That's all that people have, you know.
Why? Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Lizard's not a snake. I'm
No, there was a snake on one. Luckily, somebody like, I'll go get it. I was like, oh, thank God.
I'm with you, Jordan. I'm like, that snake gonna die.
Yeah, I cannot deal with snakes. Like, it's one of my biggest fears. Like, I will scream and run and call for my mama like, all day long. Mom!
But I mean, like you said, Mac, that was important to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, that
That's
was
their livelihood, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we're there for to do is to help it. Continued education, like no matter how long you've been in it, how important do you think it is to stay? Like once you have it, you kind of feel like you get slack and not want to train and been there, done that. But man, there's a lot of new technology coming out and a lot of new procedures.
Like turnout gear changes every year. Like, we can do this more with turnout gear. Mask change, air packs, like everything's evolving better for us. Like to keep us safer. So,
more better. I like more better.
Yeah, more better. Except Morgan County. But like everything's becoming better for us we can stay safer for longer and something like that. And I think you got it with the new technology coming, you got to be able to take those risks.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, we're talking a lot about a fire and taking risk on fire ground, but I mean, medical is a big part of the fire industry.
Yeah.
You know, and I admit I don't have my EMT, don't want to get my EMT because of the needles, but you know, that's kind of a requirement in the paid world, isn't it, Jordan?
Yeah, that's most time every department. I don't know if it's like state says, hey, you got to do this, but I don't know a single career guy that doesn't have at least basic.
Okay.
I mean, they might be out there, but I don't know. Like just from our area, I'm pretty sure basic is like minimum. You gotta have this.
I've heard it's a big step up if you do have that, just going in with the application.
Yeah, in that application pool, they'll split through real quick and be like, he's a basic. And then you get to go to this part now.
That's the callback.
Medic, you get to go over here to the
medic, you're like, all right, when you start.
Can you start tomorrow?
Yeah.
We're not a huge area. I mean, we have I think we're the third biggest coverage area.
I think so.
In our county here. But like I think we had almost 1,200 calls last year, and 700 of those were medical.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And
I see that we get so many more fall calls than we used to back. You know, back in the day.
Back in my day,
it's crazy how many we get now.
Pull up the house, going, whoa.
Yeah.
Where I tie my horse?
That was hurtful. You were a lot nicer in Sunday school.
Yeah.
He's the reason I am who I am.
I cannot take credit for that. No, but it is crazy how many fall calls we get, and they're not injured, and you show up and family's there, and you're like,
oh, we didn't want to touch them.
Didn't want to pick up grandma off the floor, and and I think that really kind of it doesn't help our. I don't think it helps our morale. May not be the right word, but whenever they're toning out for a fall call in the middle of the night, you get up out of bed, you go pick them up off the floor when family's there. You're like, really? Yeah. I left my family at home so I could come do this, or I might have left my family eating dinner so I can come help them up. And I mean, I say that stuff. We're volunteer. We're going to do what we got to do. But I kind of feel like the family unit is not. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they're not helping their elders like we used to.
Yeah.
That's not the generation I'm from.
So that's more of a societal problem than even just a fire industry
maybe
problem.
that's it. It's a society. See, it's easy for me to say. Societal problem.
I'm not trying it.
Yeah, go ahead, Joey.
Please with the
say it.
I'm not trying it. Pass.
Anyway, that I feel like maybe we as volunteers are having to step in and kind of fill that role. Yeah. And at the same time, it's driving our call volume up. Yeah. And, as a volunteer, it's wearing us out.
Now, isn't there some coverage areas that don't, even in our state, that don't run medical
we have
fire?
We have some in our county that won't run a fall call, period. And so that means the ambulance is running the fall call. So you got probably paramedic ambulance ALS truck that's getting tied up to get grandma off the floor. And again, we're in an area that we'll do it.
Yeah.
But until we fix society's problem, which we're not doing too good at either.
Yeah, that's a different show, different podcast. Subject for a different podcast.
We'll do another podcast on society. It'll be great. It's going to make America great again.
It will. It will.
God. It's in here.
So Tim, you used to be chief way back in the day, didn't
For
you?
a very short time, and I hated it. Yeah.
Really?
I did, yeah.
The leadership part, or what was it?
Well, I think everybody thinks the chief's job is easy, but it is hands down the hardest job in the fire department because you're dealing with politics.
Dealing guys like him.
Dealing guys like us.
You're dealing with all this bickering and arguments, and plus you got the stuff going on with other departments and at the county level, and some of the going back and forth among members. You're just like, are we all 5 years old? What why are we even fighting about this? Anyway.
And that's not just a fire department thing. I think
that's
any
anywhere,
leadership when you've got a lot of different personalities, a lot of different people want different things. So it's tough.
I didn't. So I didn't enjoy my brief time as chief. That's why I gave it up after about 6 months. I'm
6 months. You didn't make a full year.
He didn't even get his Y helmet.
I didn't. No, I didn't make the full year. I'm like, you know what?
Wow.
I'm done with this. I would much rather do stuff instead of having to stand back. I was also a lot younger too.
When he said brief time, I was expecting like at least a year.
Yeah, I was thinking,
it's like
maybe
2
2 or 3.
years. Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
6 months.
It might have been 8 months. It might have been 8 months.
My God.
Anyway, I was like, I did not enjoy being the chief.
Okay.
There was too much. Too much. I don't like politics and all that other garbage. So I was like, I don't want to do this.
Let me ask you something though.
Sure.
In that time period, there's people in the department that were the young guys, and you were considered the old salty dude, right? The older guy.
Maybe.
Okay. Did you have the same problems that a lot of departments have today, where the young guys are wanting to push this direction, but those older guys are sitting there going, "Nah, we've done it this way for 20 years."
Yeah.
I don't see you being that person because I've known you for so long.
For that, I was in my mid-30s when I was chief.
That's fairly young for that position.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. 30's real young.
But there was always, there was always that group of guys who are my age now that are going, "Oh, we did this like this for the last 30 years. There's nothing wrong with it. We'll keep having that gas burner stick shift fire truck that nobody can drive. It'll be fine." But I know that's exaggeration, but
Not really.
Yeah, it's like we've been doing this for years. We don't need air packs.
Yeah.
And that was not the deal at Brindley Mountain.
Yeah.
We have always had safety at the top priority.
Don't need air packs. I couldn't even imagine that thought.
Then my cigarette butt will filter out what you filter out.
Just pull up that old T-shirt over the nose.
Yeah.
But I think, and I don't know, I think change is difficult for everybody.
Yeah.
And it just was, you got these younger guys coming up who had great ideas, by the way, but you're like, well, dadgummit, why are we changing this? It's been working okay. And in my opinion, I think we need to give the younger guys a chance. And like you guys said earlier, the people who mentored you guys so that you became the firefighters you are today, we need to keep doing that and then give them a chance to step into that role. While you still got the older men and women in the fire department who can say, "Hey, you know what? That's a great idea, but here's what happened when we did this before."
Yeah.
And not get it to a point to where, whatever, the 80-year-old chief dies, and it's like, "Oh, well, great. Now we got to find somebody to put in that spot." And, well, you do it, And so I really do think that we need to start mentoring the younger generation, let them get in these leadership roles, mentor them in the leadership role, and I think it'll be good for the department. It'll be good for them, be good for the people that are under them. Because the goal is not to, in my opinion, the goal is not to be chief for the rest of your life. Be the chief. And then after a few years, let's let somebody else be chief for a while. Because more than likely, it's if you don't do that, it's going to get stale.
Yeah.
All we're going to do is, okay, this particular chief here, this is what he likes to do. All we're going to do is that.
Yeah.
We're not going to branch out. So I do think it's good to have a variety.
Yeah, particularly in the in the volunteer sector.
Yeah.
I guess Jordan, you're in the paid sector also.
Oh,
Is that kind of the same situation? Like as far as the hierarchy and the training of the
Not really.
the captains and lieutenants and chiefs?
And I think it's funny, like in the career side, you get 3 captains a shift. Those 3, like you'll have one person over those 3 trying to make them 3 the same identical person.
Okay.
And you go to, like, if you work overtime on a shift, they're like, no, that's done. We're not doing that.
Okay.
And you go to another shift, they're like, no, we do it this way.
Oh, that's right.
So you take that whole, everything you just said, but divide it in between 3 shifts. Oh my God, it's chaotic.
I bet it is, man.
Like I've worked a shift where nobody from that normal shift was on that shift. Like we had swaps going, a couple guys for overtime, and that captain was just going nuts because nobody guys from 2 different shifts were working his shift, and he was the only one from his shift that knew how they do everything.
Yeah.
And this guy was ready to get rid of us. Yeah, we drove him crazy because we're all the younger guys, and he goes to bed at 7:00 at night.
What's wrong with that? That sounds reasonable. My gosh.
He goes to bed at 7:00 at night, and then you got all of us still running up and down the hall at 11:00 at night, knocking on the doors.
Maybe because your 2 p.m. nap. What do you call it? The prep nap?
Safety nap.
Safety nap.
I can totally relate to that captain. Yeah. Like, you guys shut up and sit down.
Oh, it's like, it's just.
Don't make me come out there.
It's the dag driving us T-ball practice. Turn around. Don't make me pull his vehicle over.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Exactly. It's that guy. It's that the whole time.
I like this guy.
But it's the same thing in the volunteer side, though.
Yeah.
Like, not every officer or senior guy is going to have the same train of thought.
Yeah.
Like, me and Mac, we have differences, but at the end of the day, we're like, all right, well, we still can push this direction.
Right.
Like, we'll have our differences, but.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's how you get through them.
Yeah, exactly.
Work through them is the key to it, really.
Yeah, and people call, well, Mac had this idea. I'm like, okay, well, go with Mac's idea.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was this way. I was like, man, well, Mac's idea sounded better, so go that way.
So I was going to ask you, Jordan. I was listening to another podcast, firefighting podcast, and he was talking about the kind of the living situation for paid firefighters. He said he wishes that it would. He's an older guy too, so he said he wished that they could. No offense, Tim.
Wow.
He said he wished that it was. I'm trying to remember how he said it. So it was. He wished they would not spoil the firefighters as much. He said everybody's got their own room. They've got their own recliner. They've got their own TV. Like everybody's kind of split up. And he said, man, back in my day, we was all in one room. Like we got bunks together, but we were tight.
Yeah, you can still go to those stations. There'll be what are they called? A common room.
Yeah.
The only person that's got their own private room is the officer of that shift.
Really?
And there'll be 15 beds.
Yeah.
They're not like on top of each other, but they're spread out.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot of older stations, but a lot of the newer stations being built, it's like, I got my own room.
They make them bougie.
Yeah, I got my own room.
Yeah.
Like, there's 2 beds in my room. The other bed is for the guy on the shift before me.
Yeah. His thought was it was like,
we don't hot rack. Like, my bed stays my bed,
Yeah.
and my blankets, I don't have to take my blankets off my bed.
Yeah. And that was one of the points he said. He said, man, the guys are getting too spoiled. They get their own bed. Nobody touches it.
Yeah.
They come in their own sheets and their own pillows. And
Yeah, I mean, if I went to work somewhere else and they had a common room, I'd be like, oh, God, who slept in this last night? Because there are some nasty firemen out there. Like, you're like, oh, God, he ain't showered after that fire.
I was going to say, you imagine coming back after a fire.
Yeah, oh, he didn't shower. I know he didn't.
Smell it.
Yeah, just a yellow outline on the bed from a sweat stain.
Oh, man.
But his point was, man, it would bring people together more because they're, building camaraderie and going through the gross and,
Yeah, and I can see that. Like, we got a couple shifts that at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that's business hours, they're just like,
they spread out.
yeah. And then you still got, like, my shift, we're still aggravating. Like, our captain, I feel sorry for our captain. Like, I 100% say I feel sorry for our captain. Like, we'll do anything he asks us to do. And he's a great captain. I love having another captain. But he'll ask us to do something. We're like, no, we're not doing that. And then the lieutenant's like, hey, well, y'all go knock this out. We're like, yeah, sure. And, like, we run to do it. We're going to do it anyways, but we're just mindset, we have to give him a hard time for some reason.
Wow. Yeah.
That makes it fun.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah, especially for the captain who's like,
Yeah, 100%. He thought, oh God, these two are here again today.
You're probably gonna be a captain one day. You're probably gonna have to deal with that.
Yep.
Yep.
Goes around, comes around.
100%. I'm not looking forward to it. But like, it's for some reason we always put our lieutenant higher on a pedestal than our captain.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but me and the other guy on my shift were like, lieutenant's in charge at all times. Like fire or whatever. Like, we don't care what you say, Cap.
So
We're going with what Mom said.
You got any good prank stories that you can tell on the air that won't get somebody that nobody get won't get too much trouble?
May or may not be a family show, so let's keep that in mind.
There's always something like, and I don't target other firemen. Mm-hmm. I really don't. I'm always after the officer.
Civilians. Oh,
no, the officers. No, what? Yeah, spike strip in the road. No, I always go after the officers. I guess because everybody's like, oh, they're officer. I don't want to touch them. I'm like,
gotcha.
Yeah, I got this. Like all day long. Like confetti can, the confetti cannons you twist and pop.
Yeah.
I think I blew. Let's just say
he's trying to be careful with his words.
Yeah. Right. The last one I done was like 2 years ago. We still find confetti in the station.
Oh jeez.
Oh my goodness.
And I didn't get in trouble, but they're like, "Hey, make sure you clean up." Which I cleaned up the majority of it. You can't find all of it. And the guy now that's a lieutenant, he threw not toilet paper, paper shredder.
Yeah.
We got one of the big ones at work.
Oh no.
And I was sitting in the bathroom, after drinking the morning coffee. And I sit in the toilet, and all I hear is, meh. And I look up, and it's this whole entire bin just dumping on me. Like, I'm sitting there, and when I say it's all the way up to my hips, how much confetti is in there, I was like, son of a gun. So, of course, you clean it up. Like, you get the prank on, you got to clean it up.
Yeah.
Well, he left me, and I was like, hey, he left his locker unlocked. So his locker in the bathroom filled with it. And then I locked it back with a dummy lock, with a different lock. I took the locker off my locker and locked his locker back. So watching him getting mad because the locker wasn't working and bolt cutting it was worth my lock getting cut. Like he cut my lock, and when he opened it, it fell out, and oh my gosh. He didn't say nothing. Like, he just instantly was mad and went straight to the captain's office. I went,
oh jeez.
I was like, well, about to get a write up.
Well.
Yeah. I will say on the volunteer side too, we've got two 18-year-old guys that just started with us, and we had one guy try to push start a K-12.
Oh yeah,
because he couldn't get it to crank. And then one night after a meeting, we got with him and got him to take a water sample out of the brush truck.
Yeah,
nice.
That we have to send off every year.
Yeah.
So.
Need to get him give him a shopping bag and do an exhaust sample.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
That's a good one.
Those are good.
I think it's not different, but we spend 24 hours with each other.
Yeah,
and then so we're constantly like.
Thinking of something.
Getting bored.
Yep.
And especially if the internet's down. Oh God.
Done.
Yeah, it's over for us. But on the volunteer side, you'll see something about, I can get somebody with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you keep it in the back of your mind. And I may have seen the video a year ago. Mm-hmm. And then I'll be like, that's the guy who's getting it. Like, he'll do something. I'm like, going after him. And we like, it's constant. Like, just constant camaraderie. I mean, that's the best way to say it. Like, you have to do that.
Yeah,
especially after a bad call. Like a bad call, you need
something.
You need something.
Yeah, there's a lot to the mental health of it. And, and being able to joke and laugh is, to me, is the best medicine. I mean, it's good to talk to people and get it out and talk to qualified people and chaplains, but you gotta laugh about it.
And you do. Like, we wrecked years ago down here. It didn't mess me up, but it hurt me that I didn't sleep that night. I got up next morning, and of course, I was working the apparatus at the time. Like, kind of name drop stuff. Kind of name drop the apparatus.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in the Brindley Mountain Fire Apparatus Podcast Studio.
Sorry, but yeah. So I was working the apparatus. I worked there for years, and somebody's like, "Man, just go home. You just not feeling it." I said, "I don't need to go home. I need to be around these guys."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I think I was working on the road full time, and you didn't let me go. And Butch took me to lunch, and you weren't there. Thanks to him.
Sure, I'm glad I could be there. I can not be there for you.
Yeah, but like Butch took me to lunch. Like, being around that for that day, it made it like.
Yeah.
But everybody's like, "Man, just go home. We know it's a crappy call." I'm like, I gotta be here with it. I gotta be here with these guys.
Yeah.
And I watch out. Mac watches over me. I watch over him. Like, we can feed off each other and know. Like, after a bad call, it's like, okay, this guy's not right.
Yeah. Something
like,
stupid.
we've had bad ones, and the next morning my phone's ringing. Mac's like, "Were you on shift?" I'm like, "Yeah." He went, "What are you doing today?"
Yeah.
I'm like, he said, all right, you're hanging out with me.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like, he has a crappy call. He's I'm going to go hang out with him, or like hit the feed store. I'll go sit down there all day long at the feed store. Yeah. He won't let me drive the forklift, but
I was gonna say, put him to work.
no, he won't.
I don't blame you. Don't let
Bad
him.
for customer morale. Yeah.
But like, that's how, I guess, just because we've been in it for so long, like, we know if something's off with one of us.
Yeah.
And there's been times too, I guess, like more on the volunteer side, so to speak, and we work with each other. But like coming home, like I'll go on a call at 2:00 in the morning, and I come home, and if my wife knows what I was going into, like she's still awake.
Yeah.
Or like, I mean, if we're just going on a brush fire, it's nothing. But if we go out on like a Delta call wreck or something, my wife's going to be awake knowing, that I could potentially need to come home and get it off my chest.
Yeah. Talk about it.
I feel sorry for our wives.
Oh, yeah.
Like a firefighter, first responder wife, I feel sorry for them. Because they do not know, like, they're trying to comfort us, but a lot of us just got to have like a different, like, I'm not the touchy-feely, give me a hug type guy. It's just, let me stew for a little bit, and I'll come back to you.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. And I've, like, first responder wives, they should be set at a different level than any other wife in the world.
Yeah. Even if they don't do anything, just have to put up with it.
Like, my wife, she'll know, like, I had a terrible shift, not like no sleep, but ran a bunch of call shift, like, but something terrible happened. I was there. Yeah. And we ran it, and Max the same way. And it's just like, and I'm pretty sure our wives text back and forth a lot. Like, I'm 100% sure. Yeah, I'm 100% sure, like, his wife or my wife will text me, like, hey, I'm pretty sure both the guys are on that call. So, and so, like, I'll get home. She's like, you want to talk? I'm like, no. And she'll just let me be calm and relax. But I'm pretty sure our wives, like, have some type of mind. And they'll text me, like, hey, pretty sure they were on a terrible call. So just be ready for that.
Yeah.
At some level, we want to protect them too. They don't need to know.
No,
Right, you
gory
don't
details
feel like you
at
want to tell
all.
them.
'Cause
No.
you don't want to mess them up too. So but
My very first memory of firefighting in general, my dad was a firefighter growing up, and he later became chief for a while. But my very first memory, I'm trying to think of his memory ever, because I was a really young kid, but he joined the fire department, and his first call was a gas station. And like, it's like, dang, that's like the worst of the worst that you can think of for a volunteer firefighter. And I just remember me and mom just being scared to death for him to be gone, and that's just one of those memories that just sticks with you. And it may have something to do with why I didn't get into firefighting for a long, long time. I didn't get into it till much later. But yeah, it's tough, and it's tough on the families to have to worry about it and deal with it, knowing, my wife doesn't like it when I talk about it, but just knowing that there's a chance I would have to do something to risk my life or injure myself. And it's just part of it. And it's hard for people to understand, and especially family, because they want you to look out for your own so that you can come back to them. But
that was a conversation too. So when we were together for a while before we got married, but I wanted to make sure that she knew that if I'm going to stay in this, that we need to be on the same page, and you need to know that I'm going to 100% do everything I can when it comes to somebody else's life.
Yeah.
And like I've got a 1-year-old now, and we sat down and had that same conversation. Like, I either need to stay in this and us be on agreement that Daddy's going to go give it his all, and if he don't come home, he don't come home. And so we had to have that conversation again, but it's. Like, I guess that would come back to what you were saying, like the difference between an interior and exterior fireman.
Yeah.
Somebody that's not willing to, when you see that you're ready to go into that house and you see the resemblance of your child, and you think about, well, I'm just not going to put myself out there.
Yeah.
It's
it's
a
hard
still, conversation.
Yeah, it's a hard conversation. It's still a hard balance too, because like you said, you got family, you got a young kid that you want to come home to.
Oh yeah.
So you're trying to do what you can to save a life, but you also know that you got to keep yourself alive. And that's where the training comes in.
Yeah, and we had that fire, so to speak. It's been close. It's been probably close to 2 years now. But I remember, my wife's pregnant. We're far away from having a little one. We had a fire that was absolutely terrible. Made entry in that fire. Wasn't a lot of livable space in there. The structure was terrible. But there was 10% of that house that somebody could have been inside. And I remember like coming home and just waking my wife up and hugging her because I had already had that aspect. It just hit me hard, harder than it did before. Just knowing that I had put myself out there and Dax could not have a daddy,
Right.
So that was tough.
Yeah, it is.
So
I don't have kids, and me and my wife don't have kids, but I'm not gonna lie. When Dax was born, like every time we're on fire, I'm like, I'm gonna do that, not let Mac do it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
You try to protect him a little bit.
Yeah, I shouldn't because I know he's good to go. Like I trust him 110%, and it's just I'm sitting there, I'm like, what if something goes wrong? He's got the kid to go home to. I mean, like. I'm sitting there like, God, don't do it.
It would come to blows, though, man. I got to do it,
And if I brought it up to him, like, hey, you're not going to go in and do this because you have a kid at home, I'll probably wake up in the front yard knocked out because he's going to be like, no. But, and I think that's where, back to the officer stuff, like, I think some officers overlook that. I know I got a bunch of good officers, and they're like, and I know every officer has to deal with that on their shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
Like 110%.
They got a lot of lives on their shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like I'm an officer here, volunteer department, and Matt can back me up on this, and I know you can too. Like you're sitting there, you're not seeing your 10 to 15 firemen running around. You're like, okay, well, he's got baseball practice tomorrow afternoon with his kids, and you're like, oh man, come on now. And like that starts flashing through your head, and you're like, oh gosh, here we go.
I think it's too like our superior officers, like they feel like they've seen us come up from nothing, obviously. So. They feel like, we are under their wing. We have to be taken care of.
Yeah. I'm not good with that. Let me run. I heard, I don't know what podcast it was. It was a fireman up north. He said, firemen are just sled dogs. Just let them run.
Let them go.
Yeah.
Well, y'all got any final thoughts? I think we've covered just about all of it. Everything front to back. But final thoughts? Y'all good?
I don't think so.
Got
we appreciate y'all having us out. It means a lot.
Yeah, man. This was a good episode, man.
This was fun.
It's crazy how quick time flies. Like we're 45 minutes.
See you later down the road, boys.
Yeah, we'll do it again for sure.
Hashtag Jobtown. Jobtown.
Yeah, but thanks for listening from the Brindley Mountain Fire Apparatus Studios in Lacey Springs, Alabama. Thanks for listening. Thanks again to Jordan and Mac for coming in and talking with us about paid and volunteering. We appreciate it. Don't know what to do with my hands right now.
Yeah.
And Tim, me and you'll do it again. We'll have another guest. Not sure yet, but we'll line it up and do it again.
Let's do it.
I like it. Appreciate y'all.